righty, right? That's right. Eagles way of boxing on the Wednesday. What was you expecting? Yep, yep. Yeah, I wasn't even gonna come in at first. I don't know what happened. I twisted my back. My back's been a little bad anyway, but I don't even know how I twisted. I don't know what I was doing. I had nothing to do with girls. Don't start no trouble. Yeah, but it got twisted up a little bit. That's a bad feeling because every time you turn, you get this little pain, like shooting. I'll get it out though. I just gotta twist and turn until I can get it. You can't twist and turn when you sit. You gotta lay down on your side, then on your back. You gotta try everything until you can get the vertebrae and stuff to act right. Because once you twist them, you gotta try to untwist them right away. But right now they acting up, so hopefully I'll be able to hang in there without crying. Yeah, the pain. Yeah, the deception. Anyway, salute to D-Lo404. Yeah, signed up. He came in the chat. Yeah, it looked like I lost a couple of members or whatever, but it's all good. It feels better to have whoever I have. It's just like when you start getting hate and you get no explanation behind the hate, and there's no basis or whatever, it's cool to leave, but if you've been here for a while and you just leave, then it's probably you. You're probably just like a mama's boy or something like that. You wasn't raised properly. You wasn't raised as a real man to, where you can learn certain stuff. Because certain people, they just get bullheaded. They don't want to learn. They think everything they see, and they go by, it is what it is. And you got to stop thinking like that. We got to stop saying, I salute to Derek Bailey out there. I see you, brother. We got to stop saying stuff like, it is what it is. We got to stop that shit. And we get caught up in these things. We get caught up with everybody. Everybody starts talking about it is what it is and all that. And we get caught up with them. We start doing the same, start using the same words they use. This is whatever, that's how everybody talk now. Stop it. Stop talking like that to yourself. Don't do that to yourself. Educate yourself, not necessarily in books, but educate yourself by putting yourself around people that's been around. All you have to do is simply ask somebody who's been around. Just ask them, what the environment was like. Ask them what the environment was like in the 50s and 60s. If they still around 50s and 60s, ask them what the environment was like. And just ask them, because you can deduce from asking them, you'll be able to deduce some information. Because what happens is you'll ask them and they'll tell you, you ask them what's different today. And then they'll tell you what's different. And then you have to, like I said, you have to get your space, sit down, and then just figure out. Because even if they're not talking politics, if they're just talking about neighborhood and they're talking about school, and they're talking about church, and they're talking about other things, even if they're not talking political, you'll be able to paint other pictures, like you'll be able to paint like the picture from a political picture from, what was going on. If you ask them, they'll be able to tell you that too. If you ask them something political, they'll be able to tell you. And see, that way, when you build that old picture, then you can compare the old picture with the picture of today. And the reason I bring this up, because this is going to parallel into what we're going to, and our topic is going to parallel into it. And I know you probably have your favorite ducks. You probably have your favorite chickens and stuff. But anyway, if you come in the Eagles way of boxing and I see you popping in and out, hit that like button or hit the hate button, whichever one. If you're a troll, if you're just a hateful troll and you can't say nothing, you're just weak and scared, then you know what to do. If you're a real man, a real woman, then you know what to do. Hit that like button and then fall on up in Eagles Web Boxing. As simple as that. It's very simple. The rules are easy. Um, I'll read them out once Sir Flame get here. I'll read the instructions because this is this is the ring right now. You're in Eagles Web ring, so I have to read out the instructions. Derek Bailey, I got to read the instructions out to him. This is like the dressing room. When they come in, you in the dressing room before you come down the web. That's the dressing room. You got to know the rules before you get out here. But this is my favorite thing, is to be around people and to get understanding with people. I want to know different perspectives of stuff. A lot of times I don't have to ask. Because if it's somebody from, a lot of times it's people from, from the East, what they call Eastern Bloc. And see, these people, they tell me everything. They just volunteer. They just start talking. We just start having conversations, and they start telling me what it is over there. So I do a comparison. I'm like, shit, I don't know if I could have. I mean, think about it. I don't know if I could have grew up like that. Could you? How would it have been, D-Lo, if you grew up in an environment where you're driving your car, and then the cops say, "Well, that's a nice car," and they tell you to run that shit? How would you feel, Derek Bailey? That would be a whole different U.S., wouldn't it? Huh? That'd be a whole different U.S. if it was like that, where they just tell you, "Hey, well, you're gonna have to run that vehicle over here. I know you like it, yeah, but I got to have it." See? But we look at things from a certain perspective here. Liberty and all that, we went over this before, but yeah. I don't want to say it is what it is. I'm trying to break myself out of that habit. Because it is whatever it is what they make it. If they make it a certain way. Like the World Boxing Council. Shout out to the World Boxing Council for being corrupt, in my opinion. So shout out to them. Corruption at its finest. Deception at its finest. The devil's deception in the desert did not disappear. It wasn't just in December. Oh yeah, I remember. Hey, don't think I got all of it. It wasn't just in December. And it did not disappear. Derek Beatty, and he said down at the bottom, he said the U.S. don't seem so far off from that now, though. Somebody got mad at me, Derek Beatty, one time when I started saying that. I asked, what's the difference? I said socialist and communism. They got mad one time. I said, okay, you think this? I said, you think you're not in a place this communist or whatever. You think you're not. But anytime you don't have your own, when they start taking your freedoms, where you're at. When they start trying to force, they trying to force shots upon you. They forcing this radiation upon you. You don't have no say. You can't do nothing. You can go knock those towers down, but y'all better pay attention. Because if you're in a city, chances are you're living in a giant microwave. Especially if you live in New York. They frying all those people in New York. All these big cities, they frying you. They got those microwaves up there. Just think about it. A microwave. What is a microwave? That's a lid. That's a small. It's a short. A radio wave. That's what it is. It's a short wave. It's a short radio wave. And the more concentrated, the smaller those things get, the more they can affect. Because the big thing, I'm gonna tell you what the big thing was. The big thing for when it came to these cell phones, the big thing was just a switch. That's all it was. It was a switch from analog, which in analog you would have a proper normal sine wave. That's how they would look at it. for the depiction of it. It would, go up to a peak and then go down. So when you're tuning in, some of the, like say for instance, you was getting music or something like that. Now some of the music you would capture, and there's a dead spot. Some of it you would not because it was analog. Because the way they write that up is like a sine wave. They make a regular sine wave. So the big thing, what they had to do is they switched over to what they call digital. And people like analog because analog, a lot of times you get more sound quality because analog is like, and you have a whole range. So what digital does is it cuts the form off. So now you have like a square wave. So at this peak here, so if I get that peak, I'm getting everything across that peak and I'm getting everything down to the bottom. I'm getting all of it. But I'm missing I'm missing 180 degrees of music, maybe. Fragments and stuff. I'm missing all that because I got away from analog. So that was the big deal for the cell phones is they wanted to, so they went to digital. And then all of a sudden they start hitting us with all this G stuff, the 3G and all that. I'm going to be honest with you. There's no difference before they even said anything about G or anything. There's no difference in my phone quality. I'm still talking. Matter of fact, my phone quality on my cell phone is worse now than it's ever been. I can talk to somebody and I can hear them on the other end talking about hello, hello, hello. And then they want you, see, this is how stupefied they got us. They want you to look at bars, even if you call in to get your cell phone checked on. Or how many bars you got? You got the signal up, you got how many bars? Oh, I got plenty of bars. My bars are full. I got 3.5 bars. Well, that's not enough bars or whatever. Like, get out of here. They talking about bars. Everybody got bars. So what are we, all rappers now? Everybody got bars. I would say out of the last 3 times I was on the phone, all 3 times something happened to my signal or something happened to the phone where they couldn't hear me or I couldn't hear them. But they constantly turning up the radiation on us. For why? Why? It's far enough. It's far enough. It don't need to, you can't, there's no proof, no scientific proof that that we need to go up to 5G, 6G, 7G, whatever. You're just like a rat in a lab. They're experimenting to see how much damage they can do to you. And you believe that or not. I don't believe anything. But I know, I see stuff, I'm like, okay, that ain't right. Sometimes you just got to see stuff and realize it's not right. Because I'm out here where they got palm trees and they got antenna palm trees. Are you kidding? Antenna palm trees? That's not good. Why you need so much power? Why you need so many of them? That's my whole thing. Why you need so many of them? How come it can't just be like one? I mean, remember back in the day? Y'all grew up and you guys ever see this antenna just straight? They still have them there on cars, right? My truck has one. You have to have these long antennas. They used to have them where they was telescoping. Everybody used to love that, and that's what you had to pick up the signal on the radio. That's what you had. This one little antenna. That was working okay. So how come we can't have something like that when it comes to phones? I mean, when you tune into your radio right now, even if you tuned into your radio back in the day, as long as you was close enough to the tower, you didn't have interrupted music. You was able to hear that music, wasn't you? Derek Beatty, know, right? When y'all able to hear, what was it? Kiss FM? Did y'all get Kiss? What y'all got? Y'all got Kiss? What else? I'm trying to think of some of the stations over there. Yeah, but anyway, yeah. Yeah. K-Rock, all that. You got this, like, really? Ooh. To think about it. But D-Lo said salute. I told the brother, I see you, boss. Hold on. Derek Beatty said salute to Eagles Way of Boxing. Derek Beatty, salute at D-Lo 404. D-Lo 404 says salute at Derek Beatty 100. Derek Beatty again, the U.S. seems to, don't seem too far off. I read it right the first time. And then Derek Beatty back down there with the 100. But how is this going into we got a parallel into the story. And a lot of people they don't like it. They're already mad. They're probably mad about it. But call Joe Rogan. I got that fear. And I played on the word factor. So I got that fear. So back in the day, way, way back, before our time, and even up until our time, no matter how much fear a boxer had for another boxer, they had to get it on. Did you hear what I said? They had to get it on. Because the public demanded it. The public demanded it. Let's just go 70s. Let's go 70s, 8, and then let's just move up. And let's talk heavyweights. So in the 70s, from your knowledge, from what you know about the 70s, and when it comes to heavyweight boxing, when it comes to light heavyweight boxing, when it comes to welterweight boxing, when it comes to boxing in general, can you name, out of the divisions that existed back then, can you name, because there wasn't no cruiserweight back then, right? Can you name 2 fighters or 3 fighters that actually was in total duck mode back in the 70s? How many heavyweights was ducking each other back in the 70s? Let's name some 70s heavyweights back in the day. Of course, Ali was in there, right? Of course, Big George Foreman was in there, right? Joe Frazier was in there in the 70s, right? For a minute. Joe Frazier was fighting in the 70s. Jerry Corey, who we show in here, was fighting. Ernie Shavers was fighting. Who else was fighting? Ernie Terrell was fighting. Who else? Ron Lau was fighting. Ken Norton was fighting. God dang, them are some monsters right there, right? Chuvalo was fighting. Bugner was fighting. Cooper was fighting. Webner was fighting. Well, I'm going through that brain, huh? All these fighters back then. But who was actually like running to an organization or running to management because of fear? Now, I know that's that's a word, and that's something that people aren't going to like very much. But the way I look at it, Derek Bailey, is I have to look at it like it has to be truthful for as a statement, because I don't see anything else. So for me, it has to be fair. I'm born ready. You got fighters that are born ready, but they exclude certain fighters when it comes to fighting them. They exclude them, and then, like, for instance, Centerbox is talking about somebody wants to get paid. Of course, you in prize fighting, dumbass. Of course somebody wants to get paid. You're the illusion fighter that can bring people paydays, in which you didn't get the money you were supposed to get either. So you ain't that damn big of a draw. You ain't no superstar, to be honest. None of you are still getting Mayweather money, and you got the Pauls that are making more. You got Disney characters making more money than the boxers are. But you want to use excuses and stuff. I don't want to hear an excuse why you don't want to fight a fighter or whatever, or why you bypassing and why you fighting certain fighters, because I know why you are fighting certain fighters. You don't want to fight a fighter that has a good 1-2, especially a good one. But if a fighter got a good 1-2, you don't want no parts of it. But who was hiding and who was ducking? Baby needs food. Mama needs a car. Son needs shoes. Daughter needs a dress. Let me get out there in the ring and do my very best to bring home that prize so that I can surprise my family. Right? Is it the mentality? That's the whole thing. Is it the thought process? Is it the mentality? Because they feed us with this narrative to where, and I hear a lot of different places to where they say that there's no, he ain't scared of him or whatever. Ain't no, yeah, okay. If you don't want to use the word fear or scared, then let's use apprehensive. That there's some fighters out there that's apprehensive of other fighters. Let me clean it up and put out a euphemism. I know it's shit, and I know it's full of shit. Because fighters of today, okay, you want me to put it out there? Fighters of today are not fighting fighters of today, the best fighters of the day. All the audience have been screaming for is best fighting the best. I haven't even screamed for that. What I have screamed for, let's see good fights. I don't care if it, see the thing is, if you have a good fight, then nobody can say that you ran because it was a good fight. You know what we say as fans? That was a good fight. I wouldn't mind seeing a repeat of that. They need to run that back. That's what we say when it's a good fight. See, you can do the running if you want to. You can use the fear, or you could use it to your advantage by fighting a fight that we want to see. Because then you kind of undermine us in a sense to where, no, he didn't fight such and such. But guess what? When I get in an argument with D-Lo or somebody, guess what happens? Guess what happens if I get in an argument with D-Lo, not a fight, I'm saying, but if me and Derek Baylor and D-Lo, if we arguing, guess what happens? Derek Baylor say, oh no, they need to, such and such, this fighter need to run it with this fighter. I said, but what about the fight though? Oh man, that fight, man, you can't really compare that fight. That fight was lit. Okay, so what happens to our conversation is that we're not going to mind that you didn't fight somebody. But when we see shit's one-sided, and believe it or not, when it comes to Cinnabox, it's been one-sided in the beginning of his fights. He's usually been getting beat up in the beginning of his fights. It takes him a long time to figure stuff out, but he's never had to fight for his life, though. Let's think about it. If he's getting beat up in the beginning of a fight with somebody like Andrade or Charlo, if he's getting beat up in the beginning of the fight, he's probably going to get beat up the whole fight. He's not going to adjust because they're going to be switching up on him. But see how you fighters can appease us. You can make us happy by fighting good fights. You see how you do that? I'm giving you the key. All you need to do is fight good fights. Once you fighting good fights, we're okay. It's like, okay, I'm good, man. I don't care. I mean, that fight, that should have happened, but if it's good, it's a good fight, man. It's a good fight. I mean, we watched Wilder Ortiz. We didn't need to see a lot of other stuff when we watched Wilder Ortiz. It's like, that's cool. I'm glad. I mean, it's okay that he didn't fight Joshua. Well, nobody mad about that because we kind of sense the fear in Joshua. And I know you're fearful, Joshua. You talk a lot of shit, but you're fearful because you know what? You're vulnerable to get hit. You know that you're going to get hit, but you're not prepared. I'm going to throw all kinds of fighters out there, but you're not prepared to get hit as hard as Wilder's going to hit you. And here we go with the rules. Here's the rules right here. I told you I was waiting on the rules to get up in here, man. This is dressing room rules right now. Brought to you in Eagles Web Boxing by Sir Flame. Sir Flame says salute to Eagles Web. He says salute to the chat. He said, and as always, he said, jab that like button on y'all necks. He said, don't get neck in Eagles Web Boxing. That's right. He said he got the fire up good. He got that 100 with those things, just in case you don't know. Just in case we got to chop you down, and he got that glove up. He got that boxing glove up good. But none of the fighters that you name, even if they had some kind of fear factor in the 70s, the heavyweights or whoever it was, even before that, 60s or whatever, they had to put the meat and potatoes on the table. And that's what it was, and that's what it is. You guys are getting paid so much, even though you're not getting paid that much. But as long as if you make a milli, they take half of that. You still got a good down payment, and you got a year, 2, 3 years worth of payments. Even if you don't fight another fight for a couple of years, on that house, and on the car too. You can put a car on payments. You can put a house on payments, and just pay them out of the bank. You know, put your money in the savings or whatever, and you just pull money out to pay the mortgage and pay money for to live your lifestyle. But back then, they couldn't do it. They had to get that paycheck because they had to eat. Regardless of what anybody wants to think about it. Yep. Let me D-Lo 404 boxing got the words of wisdom up in there. He said folks say that all the time that no fighter is scared of another. He said I call absolute BS on that. Those fighters are human, and we all are capable of fear. Yeah, it's nothing wrong with fear. It's how you act in fear. You gotta see fear turns into bravery when you get your ass out there. I'm kind of apprehensive, but I gotta get my ass out there. Ali had to have fear. But Ali was one of a unique fighter, how he used to talk himself out of fear. He make you more fearful. Because Ali started talking so much, you'd be like, well, maybe he is going to do all that to me. I'm knocking your ass out in the 8. Maybe you start thinking to yourself, oh, Ali said 8. And you get out there first, second, third round, he getting your ass whooped. You're like, Ali's whooping my ass. Maybe he is going to take me out. All that plays on you the whole fight. You're like, damn, maybe I am getting knocked out in the 8. And then if you last, you're like, oh, he ain't knocking nobody out there. Then you start building up your confidence. You're still out there, but when somebody can play on you and act like they're going to do this, they're going to do that, and they mean it, and you start feeling like they're going to do it, and then that's when you start folding, like, oh, I'm going to fold up now. But D-Lo's right about that. That everybody, you human, you're going to have some kind of, you better be fearful of something. I ain't scared of nothing. And I'm not picking on New York, but a lot of guys in Brooklyn act like they not scared of nothing. I ain't scared of nothing. I could take you a few places that ain't even in the big city, and you'll be scared to death. You be like, oh, what was that? I don't even got to take you that far up. I'll take you up to where the cats are at. I'll take you up into the hills where the cats are at, and you tell me you ain't scared up there. When you start hearing that wow at night. You start hearing that at night. You start hearing that and act like you ain't scared. You ain't apprehensive. You ain't nothing. Stop that. Your skin ain't that thick. Your skin ain't that thick. Take you up there where you hear the howlers and shit. You hear the wolves and shit up there. See if your ass ain't a little bit apprehensive. Even if you pretend like you ain't scared, I bet your ass is apprehensive. I bet you ain't leaving that tent on your own. Oh, I got to go to the bathroom. You'll hold that shit all night. You sitting there shaking that night, talking about, I got to go in the morning. You ain't going to go. But people always act like they, like they just not, there's no fear or nothing. I'm not saying you show fear in all cases. Sometimes you got to just hold that shit in like, oh shit, I'm kind of scared to be up here with all these bears and shit. Because you start having those YouTube flashbacks like, oh shit, I remember this bear mauled the shit out of somebody. But you're not a dummy though. It's different. When you going through a park, like you go to the Yellowstone or something, they say don't feed the bears and don't feed the animals and shit. I mean, there's a group of people that hang out the window and want to befriend all the animals and feed the animals. That's just a group of people that do that shit. You don't have to be in that group. Keep your windows up tight and look forward. Like, oh shit, no. I'm not paying attention to that buffalo out there. I'm not paying attention to that bear. Or that buck out there. I'm not paying attention to him. Just gonna ignore him. I ain't trying to feed him hay or some shit and get my arm drug off or something. See? It's just, we were never supposed to intervene with them like that as a group. Not as a group of them. When you make a sacrifice with an animal, you pull one or two of them out of there, out of the group. You don't get the whole group used to you. You mess around and get stampeded or something. You think a stampede is a joke. You mess around and get stampeded or something. Or go out there in the woods and get mauled up. When they show the pictures of people, and I'm not trying to jump on you people, when they show the people that have got mauled, and when they tell their story, you know why they got mauled. Like, oh, he got mauled. You know why they got mauled. And I told you, Derek Beatty brought it up one time because he was talking about that. Yeah, when you're out in the forest, you're supposed to be quiet. You're supposed to be yourself when you're out there in the forest. You ain't supposed to be. Don't try to be somebody else. Don't try to be like, oh, I'm the king of the jungle. Don't watch all that old school shit. You watch that Tarzan shit and get your ass ripped in half out there messing around. You gotta be. You gotta know how to, like. Say for instance, I'm approaching a bear. Now, I'm downwind of the bear. I'm good, or upwind of the bear. So the bear, he can't really. His eyesight's not that good, but he can smell. So, if I was downwind, I'd be in trouble. So my scent will get blown up to him. So I can't change the wind. So if the wind is blowing him my scent, he might get my scent and be like, oh, I better move off. Because I know hunters come out here and be shooting. Now he'll move off. You just got to give him a little bit of time. But he's staying where he's at because because you might be, you might go rushing up. And he got to be careful. He got to be like, oh, he might come rushing up. I don't know. I got to make sure first. But when you start easing, when he notices you getting closer and closer, then he's probably going to take off. If you come running up, then he's going to take it like, oh, okay, you up here, you making noise, you running up on me? He going to get gangster with you. And you might take a bear slashing. That's one of our animals, natives, we really respect bears. We even have a dance. Y'all can look it up. You probably won't be able to find the actual dance, but you'll be able to find the dancers. You see what they have on. Like the bear dancers, because it's actually sacred, and they'll tell you if you try to film it, that your film or you try to video, that your video will mess up on you. Don't even ask why, but your video will mess up on you. Derek Bay say 100 at Dilo 404. Dilo 404 came right back. He said, "Call it what you want, too, but poop smells just as bad as a turd." There you go. You right though. Yep. And then Sir Flame. Sir Flame is salute at Derek Bailey. And Sir Flame is salute at Dilo 404. And Derek Bailey salute at Sir Flame. Sir Flame is right back. He said even Mike Tyson said he was afraid before every fight. Because you don't know what the hell is going to happen. And then Derek Bailey at the bottom said exactly Eagle. No, you don't know what's going to happen. Okay, but our picture for the day though, Derek. Let's paint our picture for the day, folks. So our picture for the day, a lot of people are falling for the bullshit when somebody, like for instance, I called it out and I got thumbs down and shit. I called it out. I said Tank Davis is the only Mexican fighter right now. I said Tank Davis is the only Mexican style fighter. And people didn't like that. They got mad with that. Oh, Tank Davis. Tank Davis is the only Mexican style fighter right now. You can get mad if you want to, but he's the only Mexican style fighter. He's fighting more Mexican style than the rest of y'all fighting. And you can get mad at Eagle if you want to. It ain't about you getting mad at me. Oh, Eagle shouldn't even said that. No, I'm tanking, blah, 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 blah. You getting all mad. What you mad about? Did Eagle make Tank fight like Mexican style? Am I the one that's making him fight Mexican style or not? Am I the reason Tank's fighting Mexican style? Derek Bailey stupid. Derek Bailey said, I'm not messing with no wild bear. He said down to a wild poodle, yeah. Hey, and plus, I'm going to tell you something about a poodle. Do not get it twisted with a poodle. Now, if you're talking about the ones that's the real little ones, a toy poodle. See, Derek Bailey said something that was real poignant, but see, what people they don't know that though, Derek. Look up one of the most vicious dogs there is. And you're going to find poodle up in there. Now, I'm not talking about poodle, that little thing. And I'm not saying all poodles don't have that little cute little whatever haircut where they got that little afro on top and stuff and got the puffy ears and the puffy tail. That's toy poodle. That's bullshit poodle stuff. A real poodle, like a poodle, will get in your ass quick. I got mauled by a poodle when I was a little kid. Yep, I got mauled by a freaking poodle. And I was thinking, oh, look at his hair. His hair is all like, his hair is like mine. You know what I mean? He's all wavy like. I'm like, oh, yeah, his hair, like a cute little dog or whatever. Man, dog. I turned my back on that dog. That dog mauled the shit out of me. Mauled me. It was a poodle. So be careful. Don't think a poodle. See, people get that shit mixed up. Derek Bailey, what they thinking? They think a poodle. The Afro dog, that little Afro dog, the big Afro dog. They're not little. They're big. They're bigger than medium size. A regular sized poodle will maul the shit out you. You heard it from me. You heard it from me. If you think not, go mess around and see what happened. Yep. See what happened. Yeah, but here's the thing, what they are missing. Courage. That's what the hell they missing. They missing courage. Now, Sir Flame don't want to mess with no wild bears and nothing like that. He don't want to mess with no poodles. Okay. But Sir Flame is letting you know that, hey, that's my fear factor. Everybody can suffer from a fear factor. And mine is probably more surprisingly, it's probably going to be more surprising than yours. Because the big animals I'm not really afraid of like that. I'm afraid of them little ones, man. I'm not comfortable around, I'm going to tell you, I'm not comfortable around raccoons. I tried to make myself comfortable with squirrels. I forced myself to get comfortable. I used to go to the grocery and I buy like a bag of like the mixed nuts with the shells and all that, like the big ones, like the walnuts, pecans, all that, right? And so I got myself used to feeding them, and finally they would come over and they would like take the food, but it was a whole bunch of them because I was on like I had a condo on like the third floor, and big trees on the outside. So after a while they was just getting used to it, and I was getting used to them. I'm like, okay, they'll just take them. And one day they just like, one of them just got mad. Like, I ain't taking like one of these at a time. He just like tried to take all the shit at once. Like, give me that shit. You know, and then they was fighting and shit all up in the trust. I said, man, forget that. I'm not going to be messing with no squirrels out here because they look innocent enough, but they out here fighting. They snatching shit from me. And, you know, I'm trying to be generous and nice to them. And I didn't want to treat them like, you know, like a regular pet, you know, like just put a bowl with nuts out there for them. I'm trying to be adventurous and shit, trying to get to know nature. But nature don't want to get to know you all the time. They put up with you. What they do, they put up with you for a little while, like, okay, I'll just take one at a time. But then they get frustrated, like, you got a whole bag of that shit. I want all of it. And they try to rush me. So, like I said, I had a problem with the small animals, man. I don't have a problem with the big animals, like cats. I have a problem with cats. Like, if it's not my cat, I have a problem with it. I mean, I went over to my friend's house, and they got this huge cat, which that's even scarier when the cat's huge and had a lot of fur. I don't know. He probably was like a 30-pound cat. That's a big-ass cat. I'm like, so he was rubbing on me. Like, he walked up to my leg and was like, I'm cool. Look, check me out. I'm a good cat. You can pet me and all that. I pet him a little bit. I'm like, I pet him. I'm like, he was like doing that little purring shit, like, doing the purring. I'm like, okay, he's purring. He's good. And I went to stand up. I was going to walk away. And that shit, he fired off on me, man. I mean, he just fired all over my leg. Like, just went in. He went in on me. I'm like, what the I'm like, so from then on, I'm like, I don't trust nobody's cat like that. Because I had on the thick jeans, you know what I mean? If I didn't have the thick jeans on, good thing I don't wear skinny jeans or something like that. He might have ripped my shit up completely. I'm like, wow. I told my friend, I said, your cat attacked the shit out of me. I said, what's up with that? I said, he's being all friendly and nice and purring and like, pet me. Like I wanted to get petted and I did that. And then when I went to go walk away, he fired off on me. I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm good with these little animals. Big animals, I think, the reason I trust big animals because I feel I see your ass better. You big, I can see you like standing. I'm like, I don't have to worry about trusting you as much. I'm like, okay, I can still see you. But the little ones, I just feel like little animals are like sneaks. They creepers and shit. They sneak up on you like especially like little small dogs that want to bite your ankles and shit, and they know you got on low tops. That's why they want to come get you. They know you ain't got no big boots on or something, and they just want to sneak up on you. Cause another instance, man, I was walking home, and these little dogs was kept like they was barking and shit, and I looked at them like, and they would like run off, but then I started walking, I got past them, and they, and one of them was trying to get my ankles. I'm like, what the hell? I had to turn around. I'm like, oh, when you turn around, they all like the tails wagging. I thought tail wagging mean I'm cool. Like, I'm good. Look at me. I'm cool. My tail's wagging. I thought that, I'm not Caesar Milan. I don't know how to read that shit, man. I read it with my animals. I can't read it with somebody else's, man, because they was all like with the squinty eyes and wagging the tail and shit. And as soon as I turn around, they try to get me and shit. I'm like, I don't trust the small animals. Big ones, cool, because I can see you. Little ones, no. No, I don't trust your little ass because you sneaky. And plus, I had a fox try to get somebody in my family once. I'm not going to tell the whole story, but yeah, fox. Y'all never believe where I was at or where we was at. You'll never believe where I was at where a fox. I'll let y'all throw up some places where you think I might have been where a fox tried to get somebody in my family. A freaking fox. Are you kidding me? I had to chase his ass off with a stick. I don't know, he might have whooped me, but that stick, he damn sure would have got hit in the head with the, he's a wild animal, you know what I mean? Wild animals can go crazy. I had a friend that had a fox dog, quote, quote, fox dog. That shit was a fact, a fox. He was tearing up everything. He tore up everything in their house. And I think the dude was like, I think he was like a Vietnam vet. And he had one of them things. He had one of them things on him, and it was no more fox dog. One day it just was no more fox dog. Yeah. Yeah. But Sir Flame said, I got a 75-pound pit, but won't mess with nobody else's animal. See? That's what I'm saying. If it's somebody else's animal, it don't matter. I don't care. You're not going to fool me with the size and all that shit. The reason you're not going to fool me with the size, I'm not interested in size. Not size of animal. You know what the size I'm interested in? I'm interested in the size and sharpness of teeth and claws. That's what I'm interested in. Now, if you got a big old, a big dog, a big Saint Bernard, he ain't got no claws, he still got weight, he can still hurt you. But he ain't got no teeth. I ain't really worried about him like that, because I'll mess up gums. If gums come over to me messing with me, I'm a two-piece gum in the mouth. I'll two-piece him. But it might be like a little 15-pounder, But he got razor-sharp teeth and claws. I'm like, I'm good. I'm good. I ain't messing with him. I don't need to be around him. If you around him, then I can be around him. Man, my cousins left me in the living room one time. I was just visiting. I'd never been at their house before, at this particular house. They had this, and I'll tell the name of the dog. He's no longer around, but they had a Doberman. They had a Doberman pinscher. I don't know how much he weighed, but he looked like he was on steroids. He was about big. He's probably taller, as big as a Rottweiler, but even taller. And his name was Brandy. And he was a cat killer. He hated cats. And they left me in the room with him because they had to go, they had whatever they was doing, I wasn't doing. And as soon as they left, they shut the door. As soon as they shut the door, he started to growl. And mind you, I ain't got nothing to, all I can do is try to fend for myself and choke the shit out of him if I can. So I'm just sitting there on the couch listening to him, and he growling and mad and shit. I'm like, damn, this dog. And then they finally come back. They said, he didn't have you scared, did he? I'm like, no, I'm all right. Man, I was scared to death, man. I just didn't show it. I probably was breathing slow and I wasn't, no false movements. I was just sitting there. I said, he probably ain't going to just maul me if I don't move. But I was so happy to see them come out that room, though, man, to come see me. But they said, yeah, he used to jump off this is a freaking dog, man. He used to jump off the freaking roof. The roof of the house. He used to jump off the roof of the house to get cats. That's how much he hated cats. I'm like, God, man. I said, your dog, I just looked at my cousin like, your dog is crazy. You crazy for having a crazy ass dog like this. Who has a crazy ass dog that does shit like that? That shit was wild. That's just crazy, Derek. To have a crazy dog like that. Oh, but why did we talk about dogs right now? Why are we talking about wild animals? Why are we talking about all that? Because this whole fear factor thing is, and just like I said, D-Lo put it best, is that everybody going to have some kind of fear. You're a person. You're a human. He said he called bullshit on that, and I'm going to call bullshit on it too, that you fighters, the reason you're not fighting, the reason you're talking, the reason you trolling, and the reason you're talking bad about Tank is because you scared of Tank. You don't really want to fight Tank. And I'm not going to necessarily agree with what Stevenson and Haney, I don't know if Haney did, but some of the fighters, I'm not going to agree with them about Raleigh, that Raleigh is the worst boxer ever. He's not the worst boxer. You guys are going in on him a little bit deep. I don't really see him matching up with Tank at all. Like a very bad matchup, because he's not going to be able to land what he wants to land on Tank, and he's going to get clipped. He is going to get clipped, as simple as that. And I don't know who's going to be training him. And whoever trains him is just, what you can't train him for is you can't train him for that power. Now, one thing I will give him is that he's stepping past that fear factor to even get the fight. If it's going to be true. If it's true. If we get the fight. Now, supposedly in November, we're supposed to get Deshaun Porter versus Bud. So hopefully we get that fight. But you guys know my sentiment about boxers and fighters. That there is no, you don't fight. You do not fight until it's fight night. When it's fight night, then you're a fighter again. But before that, I don't care nothing about it. I don't care the pay-per-view, the tickets on sale. I don't care. Until you get your ass out there and fight, I don't care nothing about it. But just covering like the 70s where we're at. Ali had to fight Foreman. Foreman had to fight Frazier. Frazier had to fight Ali. Norton had to fight Ali. Norton had to fight Foreman. Shavers had to fight Ali. Shavers had to fight Foreman. I think Shavers fought Norton. Lyles. All of them. Jerry Cooley. All of them was in a big mixture of just brawling and mauling and brawling. Right? So how many years ago is that? That's like 40 years ago, 50 years ago, something like that, 40 years ago. Somewhere around there, 40-something years. Think about this like this. As far as the heavyweight picture is now, well, even naming 4 of those dangerous monsters back then, you can't even name 4 dangerous monsters in the heavyweight right now. I'll wait. You guys can't do it. But since you guys didn't answer the question about the Fox, the Fox, we was on the beach, and the Fox wanted to come and hurt somebody. I'm like, are you serious? You're on the beach. But name 4 fighters. Name 4 heavyweight monsters today. I'll wait. 4 heavyweight beasts today, Derek Bailey. Sir Flame. D-Lo 404 or whoever else. And I appreciate you guys that came in. You guys that I'm not talking to your mods right now, but the other people that came in without any disturbances, that just came in and gave me the like. I appreciate you guys. The ones that just came in, I don't know what to say. Some of you guys just be coming in. I don't know what you want. I don't know what you expect. You can read what it says. I say call Rogan. I got that fear. I got that fear. That's what you got. Y'all got that fear factor. And that's what they got. But I'm looking for 4 monsters right now. Do I got to drop down? Cruiserweight. Name 4 monsters. I don't care. Name 4 monsters in any division. we don't have the monsters like in the 80s. In the 80s, you can name 4 monsters in the heavyweight. You can name 4 monsters probably at middleweight. You can name 4 monsters at welterweight. You can name them. Shoot, even lightweight. Lightweight, you had beasts. What about the 90s in lightweight? Who'd you have in lightweight in the 90s? Even when you have fighters like in the junior welterweight, like when you had Aaron Pryor there, when you had Alexis Arguello, people didn't want to really fight Alexis Arguello. He was like just a technician at picking you apart and just putting you to sleep. In these welterweights, I know they talk a lot right now, like they talk bad about the past fighters, but none of you welterweights would have messed with somebody like Tommy Hearns or something like that. Y'all wouldn't have messed with him. Matter of fact, you had somebody like Tommy Hearns, he would have followed Canelo's ass up. Canelo wouldn't have been able to escape from Tommy Hearns, because Tommy Hearns, he would have moved up to middleweight. Tommy would have moved up to middleweight. Like, I'll fight you at middleweight. He would have moved up to light heavy. Tommy would have moved up to light heavy. Wherever you would have moved, Tommy would have been right there breathing down your neck. Like, let's have it. It wouldn't even be to be honest, I'm going to be honest with you, and people always say that this is hypothetical and all that. That's bullshit. It's not hypothetical. It just can't happen. Even if you, so if you want to say hypothetical, you can say that. But Canelo in his prime versus Tommy Hearns in his prime, I say no contest. I say no contest. Because styles make fights. It's just like Roberto Duran. Roberto Duran just could not, it wasn't no way he could mess with Tommy Hearns. Because even with his awkward style, he was just set up to, Tommy was going to land. If you look at the knockout punch that Tommy Hearns landed, he threw a feint and then just came over the top with the right hand. And even the announcer said it was over. They said, that's over with. But once Tommy hits you clean like that, that's a wrap. Yeah, but Derek Brady said Wilder and heavy. Yeah, that's a monster. Wilder's a monster at heavyweight, but there's no fear factor at heavyweight but Wilder. Wilder is so much of a fear factor that he makes people just start talking. Like Tyson Fury won't shut the F up. Tyson Fury talk more than a girl right now. And no shade to you girls. You girls keep a conversation going. But he got Fury doing all kinds of talk. I don't trust Fury one bit. Especially, he better not try to come in like all muscular and stuff. Nope, because you can't put on muscles like that. And if I was Wilder, if I see him come in like that, I say, look, he needs to have emergency testing, independent, VADA, and plus an independent testing facility need to test him. Because ain't no way he can come in like that. Can't be flabby all the time and then come in like cut up like that. And also like Tank Davis. So Tank Davis is a monster right now. I'm just naming the monster. Wilder's a monster. I don't care. Ortiz is old, but he's still a monster. But Tank Davis, that's a monster. Most other fighters ain't nobody looking at y'all like y'all monsters. Y'all ain't really monsters like that. People, they can handle you. See, look at that. Out of all the boxers we got, is Inoue really a monster? And I'm gonna talk about it. I'm gonna talk about it Derek Beatty, because you did bring it up about the Nakatani and stuff. So I didn't talk about it, but I'm gonna talk about it, and I'm just give a little breakdown of it. From my perspective, what I seen into the fight, and then we'll get back on this. So Derek Beatty was asking last show. He was asking about the Nakatani fight. So for Nakatani, he did Acosta. He did suffer a broken nose early. It was way early in the fight. I think it was in the first round. But the thing about it with Nakatani, he has good crisp punches. Acosta was taking it. He still wanted to fight, even with the broken nose. The reason the fight was stopped was because of blood loss and a fear of blood loss. He was actually losing a lot of blood, that's crazy. That's courageous for a guy to still be fighting, and he got a broken nose like that. Yeah, he had a broken nose, and he was still fighting through it. Think about it. He's fighting with a broken nose, can't hardly see because your eyes water up, can't hardly breathe because the blood is running down your throat and down into your stomach and down your nose. It sounds gross, I know. But he still wanted to fight. He wasn't doing awful. But for Nakatani, this is where I see his problem. He's good if he keep you on the end of the jab and if he can maneuver and move you. But once you get close to him, he gets all confused. He starts getting hit once you get close. But if he breaks your nose or something, then it don't matter if you get that close because they're probably going to stop it. So, good, decent little fighter, Derek. And this is for everybody, but I'm just saying to Derek. But decent little fighter, but the problem with him is that he's going to have to adjust to somebody getting in his chest. You know what I mean? You have to be able to adjust. Somebody gets in your chest, you got to be able to fight off that too. You got to be able to fight front foot, back foot, close, squared up. You got to be able to fight all different ways. You can't just be able to fight one way. You know what I mean? And so that's why I'm saying that for me, Canelo's an easy target for somebody. They just, the recipe, the main recipe is just to have a good jab. If you got a good jab, hit my like button. I see you down there, Queen. Peace to the Queen up in here. Lala D up in here. She said something there. She got my hearts up there with the crown. She's celebrating all shit. She must have got some extra money. Yeah. But Acosta and Nakatani. So Acosta, like I said, man, he a little beast. He did not want to stop. Well, you got fighters that you can't melt them down and pour them in the ring. They don't want to be in the ring with certain fighters, but he didn't care. They stopped that. He was arguing about the stoppage. I don't care. My eyes is black. My nose is broken. I'm bleeding. I'm drinking my own blood. But it was just too much blood coming out. He said, no, you can't. You're going to faint up in here, man. And so they probably looking at him like he's going to faint. And so they like, no, forget this. He's going to faint up in here. So we had to stop. So they stopped the fight. But Nakatani, like I said, it's just, when you're in his chest, you're going to have success. So if he fights a fighter where they're in his chest, he's not going to do good. So he's going to have to work on that. You know what I mean? He's going to have to work on that. He's going to have to work on, getting somebody off of his chest. Or fighting squared up every once in a while and maneuver and backing up, like back foot. Okay, shit, I got to get you off. I'm not saying, don't get comfortable fighting somebody's fight. I mean, you got to be like really, you can tell when a fighter's comfortable fighting your fight, he's looking at the crowd. He's just looking comfortable. He's blocking shit and just boom, 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 All fighters cannot fight like that. Like, even though I don't like Benavidez because he does, when I say I don't like him, he's not as special as a lot of people think he is. When he gets comfortable with you, he will fight you. And he will beat you up. More or less, but I just don't like his boxing stance. A lot of things I don't like about him. And he gets clipped. And he's in that whole thing where, how fighters start hitting themselves in the chin. Yeah, I got a chin on me. Yeah, but just because you got a chin, don't put your chin out there just because you got a chin. I was just watching a couple of weeks ago that somebody was sparring, and this guy was like hitting himself in the chin, like, yeah, I got chin, and he got knocked out sparring. I'm like, how dumb are you, man? Put your hands up and protect yourself. You know what I mean? Put them earmuffs up there. He got cracked and went to sleep. I'm like, dude, something wrong with you, man. Yep. But yeah, what Wilder, Sir Flynn said, Wilder just make you afraid he gonna knock you out. That's what they are scared of. That's exactly what Joshua's scared of. Well, Joshua's not really scared of the knockout. He's afraid of the severity of the knockout. He knows he's probably gonna get knocked out, but he's worried about the severity and then how he's gonna react. I know that's what you think. And my opine is like, Joshua know, like, I'm probably gonna get knocked out. I'm wondering, how severe is it? Am I gonna be a coward? There's a lot of things going through his mind. Am I gonna cower? Am I gonna go out on my shield, or am I gonna just go on one knee like me and Kell Brook usually do, and just have him wave it off? That's what he don't want to do. He don't want to do that. He don't want to go down on one knee, and he don't want the knockout to be like real severe. I mean, he want to miss the count. Like, the ref made it to 10, but okay, my faculties, I can still remember what happened and all. He don't want to be like knocked out to where he don't remember, what happened. Like, damn, did I get knocked out? Yeah, he don't want to wake up talking about, did I win? I won? What was his decision? He don't want to wake up like that. That's in my opinion. But yeah, but you're right, Derek Beatty. He said Costa is a real one. Derek Beatty said peace to the queen at Lala D, and then Lala D back at Derek Beatty with the hearts, and then Lala D at Sir Flame with the double hearts out there, and then Lala D at D-Lo. We meet again with the heart and the crown, and then Derek Beatty said they could have let Acosta fight another round or two. Yeah, he was in it. Because the thing, Acosta wanted to get into that chess. That's where he was having his success and stuff. It's not like he wasn't, it ain't like he doesn't have no punch, because he was in there slinging them. See? He was in there slinging them. He looked better than Evander Holyfield in them fight. Look, he was in there like, I'm fighting. And that's what happens when you get out there and you have to, make it happen. Is that you go out there and fight. But the whole thing with this whole fear factor, God dang, you fighters, you're not fooling all of us. It's like D-Lo put it up there that y'all, that's bullshit, that y'all not afraid. Be very afraid. But then again, I would say that you make a move like Santa Cruz made, and you step above your fears, and you say, well, you know what? I'm a fighter too. Whatever happens has to happen. That's just what's going to happen. I'm not saying that, now when it comes to Raleigh, I'm not saying that's what Raleigh's doing. Raleigh really thinks he's about that action. But in the back of his mind, he might be thinking, I might not be as good. I hit hard, but I might not be as good as I think. Let me go ahead and get this payday. I don't know what y'all think about it. You think if Raleigh is just thinking that, I need to get paid? Because sometimes fighters do need to get paid. They're like, oh, see, I'm going to get this big payday at least. But then you got some fighters just running off the different divisions, changing the whole physical body dynamic of their family and their relatives and their ancestors, looking completely different than anybody has ever looked in their family. And nobody feels like it. Everybody feels like it's all natural. Oh, he just took a couple of supplements. Yeah, you supplemented yourself, all right. And I'm going to stay on you too, Cinnamon Box, or Cinnabix, Cinnamon Bits, B-I-T-S. I didn't say the other word that y'all thinking. Yeah, Derek Bay said Acosta has 21 KOs out of his 22 wins. Yep. Yeah, they should let him go. They should let him go. Matter of fact, even Timothy Bradley was making sense. For once, that he was making sense. He said, he said the fighter has to decide that if he want to keep going. Said he's okay with fighting. Let him fight. If he's okay with fighting, he's not doing bad, then let him fight. He wanted to go out on his shield. And like I said, some fighters don't want to go out on their shield. And Cinnabox we're not going to forget about you skipping fighters. We're not going to forget about that. We're not in the business of forgiving and forgetting that you guys don't fight. But I gave you fighters, and I'm giving you fighters the recipe. The recipe is to go out. The recipe is to go out and have good and great fights. Sir Flame says, salute to the queen at Lala D. Lala D said, laughing out loud, she said, send a bitch. Actually, I said, send a bit. I said, B-I-T, not C-H, but that's good too. She said, send a bitch. I just said, send a bit. I usually just call him Cinebox because everybody know what that is. He's a cinnamon and he's boxing. Yeah. But the key, again, this is the key. The key is to go out and have a good fight to make us forget about it. Be like, oh, that was a good fight. Now, we might, on top of that, we might say, oh, that was a good fight. I wonder how he'll do against, why. We might do that. We might do that, but then again, we still digesting the fight. I mean, just like I said, the Brazil Wilder fight, we just talked about that. Everybody talked about it. A lot of D watched it 100 times because we just couldn't believe the knockout. When somebody knocks your whole soul out your body, then we have to keep watching it. And so that's what we saw. It's like, we seen that, so we had to keep watching it. That's a great fight, a good fight for us. Now, if you guys do that, then we don't have no problem. But if you, and I'm not saying you take okay, we're going to go to the levels now. So if you take an A level fighter versus a G level fighter, no, we're not saying, oh yeah, that was a clean knockout. The only people that get excited about that is fanboys and fangirls. They get excited about that. Oh, you see what Canelo did? Yeah, he beat an F fighter. Yeah. But you don't. But the thing is, what you're not going to mention, you're not going to mention that the fighter was an F fighter. You're just going to praise the performance. Get out of here with that shit. Sir Flame said, I don't know if I said this before, but I got Porter over Bud. He said Wilder over Fury, and I got a feeling Canelo going to lose in Pac in the rematch. Okay, there we go. We got all the Sir Flame's predictions right there. He going with Wilder. He going with Porter. I kind of feel that Porter thing is kind of making me nervous now. That Porter, I can kind of smell like an upset on that. I can see Bud trying to. Well, see, this is what happens with Bud in that fight. We can discuss it a little bit. So this is what happens with Bud in that fight. What I feel, Sir Flame. I don't know if you feel this way. But what happens with Bud is Bud gets way too overconfident, and he just tries to just maneuver Porter too much, tries to do too much with Porter. And I think Porter, somehow Porter gets off like a good hard, like a shot. Porter gets off a couple of shots, and then from then on, it's just like Bud's downfall. Bud has to, Bud is like, he might not get knocked out, but he's just like wobbly and hurt during the fight. I can see that happening. I can see Bud outclassing him. But Porter, it's hard to outclass Porter. He'll make you have an ugly fight because he'll see it like, oh, you trying to do this. You trying to outclass me. Porter will make you have a bad fight. Derek Blake said, I don't know. He said 1 minute Raleigh is having a mental breakdown. Then he's retiring, and then he is fighting Haney. Then Raleigh don't want smoke with Haney. Now he's on the fighting Tank. Yeah, I don't know. These Ryan Garcias and Rolly Romero's and stuff like that, I don't get them. Because they always change. They always, like I said, they always flopping up and changing. And like I said, a lot of you fighters are on that fear factor shit. And you're not, you're hiding that from your fans. Yeah. Sir Flame said Raleigh better sit his street fighting ass down before he get KTFO'd. Yep, that's you're right. You got that right. Yep. You get KTFO'd. Most definitely. Yep. That's exactly what's going to happen if he get his ass out there. Especially you have no business. See, the thing is, you have no business out there. If you having mental breakdowns and shit, you ain't got this. Stop. Just retire for a minute or something. To get a warm up fight or do something. Get a tune up fight. Don't be calling out somebody you just had a mental breakdown or whatever. And I knew. And see, the thing about Ryan is I know Ryan was phony in the first place. Because he was on that whole I'm hyped up shit. He got on that whole I'm hyped up shit. You could tell. Oh, I want everybody to do. I want all the smoke next. He was on that neck stuff. He was on that Samuel Peter neck stuff. Like, who neck? Whose neck I got to break? Whose neck up in here? He was on that. But you could feel that it was like, he was on that, but you could feel that he was like, yeah, you talking underwater right now. Can't nobody hear you. Yeah. But we got enough fighters in here. We got enough fighters out here that have serious mental problems and stuff. And I'm gonna tell you, fighters, another thing. If you do have yourself a little witch doctor in your camp that's helping you out with your weight gains and weight losses and stuff like that, one thing he's probably not telling you is that you, on top of everything, you're risking somebody else's health. You're risking your health. This is my public service announcement. Is that you're risking your health. You're risking somebody else's health. But you got to think about it. You're really risking your health because you're taking that shit. And we don't want to see you later on in life with the abba. We got enough fighters like that. And shame on people who make fun of the way that Holyfield talk. Evander Holyfield has never been a linguist. I'll put that out to you right now. He's never really been a linguist. He's never been a person, a boxer, to really put his words together in a way that you would think that somebody would structure their sentences and stuff. He's always been a type of person that, talked like he was at home. In his home environment, his family. He's always done that. He's never been the most articulate when it comes to, speech. We've had other fighters that were not that articulate. George Foreman didn't start off like real articulate. MTM, he's not real articulate. Listen to him, you'll get bored too quick. So you guys stay off of him. If it was a bad showing, it was a bad showing. If he want more, let him go back. Let him go out on the shit. However it has to happen. I'm not brutal, so don't be saying that Eagle's brutal. I'm not brutal. I'm not brutal. I'm not the one. I'm not the one calling for it. You feel me? Lala D, I'm not the one calling for the fight. Holyfield want that re-up. Let him get the re-up. Yeah, Dilo 404 got something for everybody. He says they so prematurely tired to label the little boys the Fab Four. Yeah, there you go. And Four Kings. And ain't none of them little MFs fighting. That's right. Yeah, you got that right. They damn sure they early trying to. See, the thing is, Badila, what they don't understand is we'll pull up the Fab Four and we'll talk about them. And we have talked about them in Eagles Way of Boxing a lot. We have talked about them. Everybody know. If you wasn't here, maybe you was here, maybe you wasn't here, but we talk about them enough. Matter of fact, we put them out there a little bit today. I said all them fighting, they scrambling and fighting each other regardless of fear factor or not. But you little guys, ain't no way. You little guys ain't no Fab Four. Huh? How you gonna be Fab Four and all of you having like mental issues and stuff? And during those Fab Four, man, if you read some of the side stories on those Fab Fours, they was going through a lot when they was fighting. Marvin Hagler had to go through a whole lot of shit, man. He had to go through a lot of violence. All of them had to go through. Sugar Ray Leonard grew up in. Matter of fact, let's put it like the Fab Four, the original Fab Four, all grew up in more or less the ghetto. All of them. Marvin Hagler, yes. Tommy Hearns, yes. Roberto Duran, yes. Sugar Ray Leonard, yes. They all grew up a certain way. So if they grew up that way, you guys didn't grow up that way. You guys grew up all spoon fed, and people say, "Oh yeah, you're gonna be great, Ryan. You're gonna be the best ever." You had that. That's the language that they was hitting you with, huh? Little F boy. That's what they was hitting you with. Don't act like I don't know what they was hitting you with. That's what they've been hitting you with. Oh, look at me. I'm a model on Instagram or whatever, Twitter. I'm a model now, and I'm a boxer. I'm a fighter. Girls love me. Who's the man? Hey, all that dumb shit. Get your ass out there and get out there and fight. Tank is he got you guys at the proper moment. Tank got all y'all. He got y'all just lined up. He could just line all y'all up if y'all gonna decide to fight. He could just line you up and just knock y'all down one at a time. I'm just gonna knock this fighter down. Then I'm gonna fight. He's the Mexican fighter right now. The Mexican style fighter right now is Tank, because Tank can just sit back and just watch y'all. He can do what he want to do. Okay, I'm gonna fight you next. I'm gonna count that money up, and then I'm gonna fight you. Count the money up. Tank can beat up anybody from what? Shit, Tank might sneak his ass up to 147. Don't be surprised if Tank don't end up in 147 at one point. Because all these weight classes are slipping. Because Tank beat your ass from 130 up to 140 right now. He said he don't have no problem making weight at any of them. So don't mess around and wake up a sleeping giant. A little giant. He a little giant. Now he doing backflips. He going back to the amateurs. It's so fun for him now that he's like, he done turned back into a kid. He doing backflips off the rope. Like, yeah, man, I used to do this in the amateurs. I'm going to do this again. I can do my backflip. Because that's how much he thinking about y'all. He doing backflips over y'all because that's how much he really thinking about y'all. Damn. But y'all got a lot of people food. There you go, D'Lo with the semantics out there. D'Lo said, "I'm a model." He said, "You know what's up." He said, "I do my thing on the catwalk." He said, "Looking ass, little badass boy." Yeah, y'all don't remember that, huh? D'Lo pulling up the old school. He pulling up some shit from what, the early '90s or '80s or some shit. I think it's '90s, early '90s or something. He pulling that up. They had that song that I do my thing on the catwalk. Yeah, I'm a model. That's right, brother. I'm a model. Hey, I'm a model / boxer. Put some respect on my name. You know, he wants somebody to put respect on his name like Sexual Chocolate. Like Sexual Chocolate wanted somebody to put respect on his name. So he doing the same thing to Sexual Chocolate. Hey, put that respect on it. You know what I'm saying? It's like that's okay, so D'Lo said, okay, so Porter and Bud are fighters again. Even Broner may have a fight on the horizon. He said, but what the F is Keith Thurman doing? Man, don't even. I have no idea. And that's why you hear me saying, that's why you hear me saying that these fighters they're boxers in training. So they train, some of them train, and some of them out there in the world. Some of them out there living it up. They're just boxer trainers right now. They're not. Until the bell ring. Now, I'm going to give you up until like the fight. Like if the fight, I don't even give you the weigh-in. Because weigh-in, you might lose on the scale. So I'm not going to call you a fighter. You might have lost your belt on the scale. So I'm not going to call you a fighter until after the weigh-in. Because then I can say, oh, yeah, they're going to fight. But if you, on the weigh-in, no, I'm not counting the weigh-in. After the weigh-in, then I know if you're a fighter or not. I know if I had to hang my head down low or shake my head like that. This, yeah, we get tired of saying this. We get tired of saying that, D'Lo. D'Lo so TR wearing ass, yeah. Hey, brother, he got fans. He got the girls. I got the girls. I got them girls, girls, girls. He got them girls, baby. So he popular. Hey, I am IG. When they look at it like that, like I am IG. I'm the one that's IG. Ain't nobody else IG. I'm IG. But you fighters got that fear factor shit. You got to get rid of that shit. That's why I said call Rogan up. Call Rogan up because you got that fear factor. So call up Rogan. If you're scared, he just gonna send your ass. What is Rogan gonna do if you're scared? See, that's why you need to call Rogan. Matter of fact, I put it wrong. When I said that you need to call Rogan, no, we need to call Rogan. Because if you're fearful, D-Lo, what Rogan gonna tell you if you're fearful? Huh? What is Rogan gonna say, or what is he gonna say and do if you fearful? There's choices to be made, and Rogan is gonna help you make your choice. If you sitting there fearing, he gonna help you make that choice. Yep, he gonna help you make that choice to get your ass up out of there. But Ryan, you need to get your ass out there and fight. Lopez, you need to get your ass out there and fight. Raleigh, you need to get your ass out there and fight. Well, as far as Raleigh's concerned, I know why he didn't want no parts of Haney. You can talk shit about Haney, but Haney is just he's just too much of a boxer, way too much of a boxer for you. You would have been getting clowned like the whole fight, and that's what you didn't want. You didn't want the embarrassment. I don't know if you really want Tank. You might take Tank, but Tank will just knock you out. He probably ain't gonna embarrass you like you would have got embarrassed. Haney would have embarrassed the shit out of you. So you didn't want to go through that embarrassment. Now, for some of you, all you other little giants that feel that you should be the new Fab Four, get out of here with that shit. You ain't fooling nobody but fanboys and fangirls with that shit. But we need to see you get in the mix. And I'm not gonna just pick on these little guys. But another note for you smaller ones out there. Get your ass out there and fight like Acosta did. Acosta did not care. I'm hurt. I'm fighting through this shit. That is what boxing is about. We don't want we don't want y'all hurt to the point. We don't want no dying in the ring. We don't want that. But we want to see sometimes that you fight through controversy, because I don't know about you guys, but a lot of times when I see that, when I see somebody that can fight on, that actually motivates me. That gives me motivation. Like, okay, I've been through some shit before, and I can see that if they can make it through this, I can still make it through it. A lot of us look at boxing for the sport. We look at it for the pugilistic values of it. But we look at it for our own self too, like, that we can make it doing our own everyday things that we do. Yep. D-Lo 404 back with something. He said, I can't remember. All I know is that Tyrone Biggums killed it on Fear Factor. Tyrone Biggums was the king. You got that right. Yeah, Tyrone Biggums was the king on there. And he was on that. But he's on that stuff, D-Lo. I can't give him his props, though. But it's crack. Y'all need to stop coming in here with that. Okay, so it's crack. I don't know. So don't get me twisted. I've never partaken. I don't know. But is crack a performance enhancing drug or medication? Is it? So Tyrone did good. But Rogan would tell you that, that, okay. He just say it in a nice, calm manner. Okay, can't do it. Thanks for participating. You got to go. He just let you know that it's time for you to leave. But you fear factor boys. But we finally supposed to. I don't know. I'm not getting excited about it, D-Lo. So if we get the 147 fight, we get it. But I'm not really hearing about a whole lot of 147 fights. I'm not hearing very much. 154, I'm not hearing very much. We supposed to get a replay at 154. We should get a replay at 160. There's some fights where we need replays. Like, we all need to do that again. Lil B-Hop. You need to go get that Mongolian again. We need the replay on that. I think that's just a hard fight for him. I think it's going to be a harder fight for him because he was in shape when he fight Tug. I want to see a little tugboat. You know, hey. People don't like to respect. That's the whole problem, Derek, is they don't like to respect because what's happening is you're fighting. You're experiencing people from way back that had fight in their blood, and they're fighting today. His fighting heritage goes back further than any other fighter that I can really think of off the top. It goes back further than Tyson Fury, so-called gypsy lineage. The Mongolian, the fighting spirit of Mongolia goes back further than that. So what more do you want in there? That's classic. It's something that we need. The little Mongolian, let me call. I end up calling the fight. Oh, the little Mongolian, left hook with the little Mongolian. I haven't done fights, but yeah, maybe we'll do it one day. Maybe Eagle called the fight. Yeah, it's good little 1-2 by the little Mongolian. Uppercut, yep. Yeah, see, that's and Derek and see, D-Lo's putting out the information right there, because even we discussed that in here. He said 154 was white hot not very long ago, and it seemed to be getting stagnant. It just went. That's right. We was like all we was talking about. We was on 154 more than anything in Eagles Web. You know that, Derek Bailey. You know we was on 154 because I was like, damn, 154 ain't nothing but killers at 154. And that's before the Rosario exposure that we found out he couldn't take body shots. But even then, because we had J-Rock. See, J-Rock getting beat up by everybody now, but we had J-Rock. We had, not J-Rock ain't getting beat up with everybody. But I think we had a split, right? No, actually, hasn't fought. Harrison fought. Harrison fought and Hurd fought. But we thought that was going to be the mix. It should have been J-Rock, Hurd, Harrison, Charlos, like that. And maybe Rosario, but Rosario got to work on that stomach. Because he heavy-handed, just can't take the body shots. But that's all we used to talk about in Eagles. With that, oh damn, 154 going up to take. Because I know I used to tell Danny and them, take your ass up there. You want that 154? Get your ass up there to 154. Get your ass smashed out. Everybody act like they wanted to go. Then Crawford act like he wanted to go up. Then everybody was, oh no, why you want Crawford to fight on Charlo? Because Crawford act like he about that action. Take your ass on up there. You moving through divisions. You have a welterweight championship. Go up to 154 and get one there, and then go up to 160. Keep going. Y'all want greatness. And some of you will be gifted greatness, and then people will follow, and people will believe that shit. Oh, this was a great fighter. But if they're smart enough, then they watch. Because the thing about boxing is you have to know the surroundings when you start praising fighters. You have to know, okay, one of the biggest things you have to know is, was there any avoidances when it comes to this fighter? Did he avoid anybody who wanted him? So, and you have the proper tools now, so you can Google. Like, who called out Canelo before he was champ? Stuff like that. And you'll find out. Like, well, why didn't he fight this fighter? Let me look at this fighter and see why. Here we go. D-Lo 404 said Colbert will be in a title fight soon. Tug probably is far from getting another one in his division. Yeah, Tug is way he probably they don't want him. They really don't want him in the picture though. D'Lo, they don't want him in the picture. He's a tough little guy, man. He's just too much of a problem. He's more what they say. Um, what's that little saying that they have? The reward. Oh yeah, the rewards versus the trouble or whatever. Some bullshit that they say. You know, it's just he's more trouble than he is worth like the reward. The risk. He's a risk factor. He's just a risk factor. That's all it is to it. He's just a risk factor. He's probably just gonna be a problem child. He's probably just gonna be a risk factor. And you're right. He's probably just ain't gonna get. He won't get the shot that he needs because he's a risk factor. Like you a risk factor. I'm gonna leave your little ass alone. You can fight it, And I don't want him to be like a gatekeeper. Just give him a shot. He'll end up being something like a gatekeeper or something like that. I'm hoping not. But if he is, then he is. It is what it is, You fighters, get your ass out there and fight. Get rid of this fear factor. Get rid of and see, when I say fear, and I say fact or, now guess what? It's more or less risk and reward. There you go, Derek, baby. Yeah. It's more or less, if I'm saying fear, a lot of times it's fear like, shit, I might go out there and get pieced up. And a lot of times it's fear like, oh, I'm having a mental breakdown. There's levels of fear. Oh, I'm not feeling as confident as I need to feel. So there's different levels and stuff when it comes to this whole fear thing. But you fighters need to go out there and look at certain fights and look at certain fighters as somebody who gives you that motivation to go out there. Acosta is going to be my example for a little bit. I'm not saying how long, but that's going to be my example. And I didn't talk about it the last show, but I talked about it this time because I just wanted to let everybody know that, yeah, he went through that whole fight, he had blood running out of his nose like a faucet. And he still wanted it. Whereas you got Kell Brook, he get hit in the eye like, no, that's enough. I'm quitting. Amir Khan, that must have been a body shot somewhere. Low blow or something. Oh, I gotta stop. Get out of here with that. Yo, boxing could be a lot bigger than what it is. And if we need Disney characters to propel boxing forward, then that's just what we need. Hopefully we don't need these Disney characters, and we'll be able to make it through boxing. Anyway, you know what? So I'm gonna let y'all go, man. I got some things to do. Of course, I'm always running late on this because it was a good discussion for me. It was good chat, and you guys brought out like the best points. But if you want to go out there, take your ass out there. Yep. We'll try. Maybe we'll cover some more when we do the rap on Friday. When we do Friday rap, we'll cover some. Maybe some other stuff will come some other stuff will pop up, and we'll cover that stuff too. Whatever it is, we'll see what pops up between now and then. But anyway, my shout out to all the real people that I see, and my shout out to all y'all that mess with me, man. Y'all know what it is. It's Wednesday. Eagles Way of Boxing. Nothing but blessings, fam. Yep. Appreciate it, y'all. I'm gonna catch y'all, man.